Let's talk about taking advice from doctors on the internet. A lot of people feel that is very bad advice is to take, or that not everything you hear on the internet is true, and I will agree with that. In fact, a lot of it is not true. But anyway, I wanted to tell you today about 5 doctors that do have a very strong YouTube presence that I actually trust and follow and glean a lot of their information to share with you after I translate it into layman's terms. Okay, so why do I trust these 5 or maybe 6? There is a honorable mention. He's not a fully keto doctor. Although he does use keto with his patients, he also feels that it's not necessary for everybody. So let's see. The reasons I trust him are most of them are still active. All the ones I'm going to mention are still active. By active, I mean have a valid medical license issued by the state that they are practicing in. Not just that they went to college and then they got an MD behind their name and then they think they can do it all on YouTube. Maybe they've lost their license, maybe they moved out of the country and never renewed a license or never sought a license. So I think a doctor that's actually using what he talks about is a whole lot more trustworthy and respectable than one that just sells supplements through his YouTube channel or Instagram account. I'm not even going to name the names of the ones I don't like, so I'll only name the names of the ones I do use information from. And one of the gold standards in that area is Dr. Eric Westman, who is the head of the Keto Clinic at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. He runs the Adapt Your Life Academy and the Adapt Your Life YouTube channel. So you can almost double check anything I tell you on his channel. What really sets Dr. Westman apart is that he will not even comment on anything unless there's been a random controlled trial, which is the gold standard in scientific research, that had at least 50 participants monitored for a long period of time, that had significant results. You know, you can have results in a research study, but they're not statistically significant. So if they're not statistically significant, Dr. Eric Westman won't even mention them. He gets asked a lot because he deals with keto and he was the past president of the some organization for weight loss doctors, American Association of Weight Loss Physicians or something like that. That's not the right name, but anyway, the man knows what he's talking about with keto and with weight loss. So he's often said that it's okay to use diet drinks, diet sodas, as a bridge from full sugar or high fructose corn syrup sugars, sodas. These people are really concerned about whatever's in their tree. But they got to yell back and forth across the driveway about it, and I'm trying to talk up here. But anyway, he said there hasn't been any studies to show what the effect of artificial sweeteners have on glucose or insulin spikes. So he says they're okay to use until he gets other information that says they're not. And I agree there could be other problems with them, and so does he, but we're looking at things from a insulin response here, not a cancer or other medical issue response. So, Dr. Eric Westman, Adapt Your Life Academy, he's a really good one. And of course my own personal physician, Dr. Paul Mabry in Sherman, Texas, he hasn't done much on YouTube since he renewed his medical licenses both in New Mexico and Texas and became I always forget the name. The physician over all of the residents, attending physician, the attending physician at the Grayson County Health Clinic. But if you go to Dr. Paul Mabry, or maybe it's Paul Mabry MD, YouTube channel, you can actually watch one of his Zoom lectures where he's going over a lot of healthy stuff with his medical students. He's the one I went to personally in Texas before I moved up here, and I still corresponded with him on email, and if it was absolutely necessary, I do have his cell number, but have only called him from Branson once when I had that thing going on with my nerve or face where the face was getting numb. And he called me once when I had the shingles because the prescription that the pharmacy filled was not the one he called in. I needed a stronger one. So he caught it and called me and had it corrected. That sun's really starting to come out now. I'm sitting up here on top of the hill in my neighborhood that got severely damaged by the storm Tuesday night. And I had to kind of, you might see in the background there's a tree that's fallen down, or part of it is fallen down. The bench I used down in the lower area, it's kind of hard to get to because there's several trees or branches across the trail. Going the low way, I'd have to come up here and then walk down the set of steps to get to it, which probably meant I'd have to walk back up here to get home, so I don't want to do that. Okay, so I made this video Tuesday and started to release it, but then I remembered I had forgotten two extremely beneficial doctors in the Keto area that have been very helpful to me personally through the Virta program, V-I-R-T-A, Virta Health. That's Dr. Sarah Halberg, who passed away earlier this year from lung cancer. Never smoked a day in her life. But she was the chief medical officer for Virta. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention Dr. Stephen Phinney, who was the founder of Virta, and he may be the chief medical officer again. I don't know, because I haven't really heard what happened after Dr. Halberg passed away. You can see her in videos still. I mean, I guess that's one of the legacies of YouTube, is your words continue after you're gone. So hopefully I'm building a legacy here of good information if I were happen to disappear or die, God forbid. But anyway, Dr. Halberg is a firecracker, or was. Very strong advocate for low-carb healthy fats. She was actually doing a study at Indiana University or Indiana State University or something like that. University of Indiana, I don't know, one of them up there, where she was in charge of the obesity clinic. And through her patient, she realized that vegetable-based or plant-based was causing people to get fatter than animal-based, and she switched over, and now I guess Virta hired her after Dr. Phinney gave up the reins, and she now, I think, was more of an animal-based eater before her death. I'm not going to say whether her earlier diet may have caused it. I don't know exactly what causes lung cancer if you don't smoke, but anyway, it's a loss to the whole community that she's no longer with us. Then the last one I wanted to mention was a young man out of Australia. He's on the Low Carb Down Under channel, and both Dr. Phinney and Dr. Halberg have also been featured on the Low Carb Down Under, but they also have the Virta Health channel, V-I-R-T-A. Virta, not V-E-R, V-I-R-T-A. And you can watch a lot of discussions with Dr. Halberg and almost lectures from Dr. Phinney. That's P-H-I-N-N-E-Y, not F-I. So Phinney with a P-H. He's also kind of a legend in this field. But the one I wanted to mention from the Low Carb Down Under channel, even though they have a lot of good doctors, is Dr. Paul Mason. He's a sports physician. He works with elite athletes, and he's where I got most of the vitamin D talk I did months ago, sunlight and vitamin D. He's also done things on statin drugs, and I guess in the one about vitamin D, it was that, even if you get skin cancer, you're going to live longer than if you totally avoid the sun. So that was something I wasn't aware of. But both Dr. Mabry and Dr. Mason have had either metabolic syndrome or obesity in the past, and put it into remission or cure, or whatever the term is, through a low-carb, healthy fat diet. That's why they talk about it. And that's another reason I like them. I don't know that Dr. Westman ever had any medical issues that were corrected, or Dr. Phinney, that were corrected by low carb, healthy fat, i.e. keto. I'm going to start saying keto because more people search for keto than they do for LCHF or low carb, healthy fat. And the whole purpose is to grow this channel. But anyway, Dr. Mabry and Dr. Mason both had health issues that they were able to correct through research and through diet. So yeah, definitely use your food as medicine. I think the next video is going to be titled From Obese to Overweight Through Keto. And then I have at least 3, maybe 4 or 5 videos I'm going to make on sugar and how bad it is for you. So that ought to keep me pretty busy for the next 2 months. And then somebody told me I ought to add something else in. I said, well, I'll add it to the list, but it's kind of already a long list. I've got a lot of videos in the works. But as of today, I am again out of the obese range. I was under 227 on the scale this morning, even though I'd been at Mom and Dad's the night before. Whenever I'm there, I eat way too many carbs. But when I talk about the sugar, you'll see how I'm adjusting some and thinking that maybe the starches and pastas aren't as bad as I once thought they were. I need to do a little more research, and I've got a call scheduled with my Verta coach on Tuesday she's a nutritionist, so I want to ask her some questions before I share it with you to make sure what I'm saying is accurate. That's my honorable mention doctor is Dr. Robert Lustig, MD, who's also a professor emeritus at University of California, San Francisco. It's not going to be often I credit somebody from California with doing something good, but he's the one who's done all the research on sugar and high fructose corn syrup that I'm going to be translating for you over the next several weeks. So Dr. Robert Lustig, if you listen to anything from him, that's all right too. So Lustig, Phinney, P-H-I-N-N-E-Y, Dr. Sarah Halberg, Dr. Paul Mason and Paul Mabry, and Eric Westman are the internet keto doctors that I trust and respect. And I hope you will respect me for the research I do with them. Thank you. Oh, there's a subscribe button over here. You can comment down below and hit the like button. I'm going to get out of this. Well, it's not really sun, but it's kind of humid out here, and get these uploaded. I made one for the other channel, Chillin' with Chip, right before this. So thank you for your time. Love y'all. Have a safe week. Bye-bye.